Have you ever had a supervised visitation monitor sit in the back of the car while you take your son to his first Little League game? The monitor showed up at the field 20 minutes early, folding chair under one arm, a binder under the other, wearing a lanyard that said court-supervised parenting time, and the expression of a woman being paid to watch paint dry. My son Bennett was turning 7 that week, and the only thing he wanted was to play second base and get a snow cone after. What he couldn't understand was why this stranger named Doreen had to sit near the dugout and write in a binder every time I tied his cleats or told him good hustle. 4 months earlier, my ex told the judge I was volatile because I'd slammed a car door during an argument about who was supposed to renew Bennett's health insurance. One slammed door in 9 years, and suddenly I needed a chaperone to watch my own kid play baseball. Doreen set her chair up about 15 feet from the bleachers and made a small note every time I clapped or handed Bennett his water bottle. I felt the other parents start to clock it, the lady with the binder watching the guy with the kid, and I knew exactly the story their heads were writing. The first mom slid down the bleacher away from me and pulled her daughter into her lap. A team dad coaching first base kept glancing over at Doreen's lanyard like it was a restraining order pinned to her chest. The team mom handing out orange slices crouched down to Bennett and asked in this slow, careful voice, "You having an okay day, sweetie? You feel safe?" Like she was doing a welfare check instead of running snacks. A cluster of parents behind the fence kept murmuring and looking over until one of them said, plenty loud, "See, this is why I ask about the home situation before carpools. You just never know with some of these dads." When Bennett got his first hit, a dribbler up the third baseline, but he ran it out like it was a triple. I lifted my phone to film it, and Doreen stood up and stepped into the shot. "I have to be visible in any recordings," she said. "Documentation." So the only video I have of my son's first base hit has a woman with a binder standing behind the backstop. Bennett jogged over between innings, cheeks red, and asked, "Dad, why does that lady keep writing about us? Are we in trouble?" I told him no, buddy. She just really likes baseball, while Doreen wrote something down behind me. The worst part came in the third inning. Bennett wanted me to warm him up along the fence, just soft toss, and Doreen stood and announced she'd need to position herself to observe the physical interaction and started recording on her phone. A dad nearby heard it, looked at me, and quietly steered his son to the other end of the dugout. I stood there tossing a tennis ball to my 7-year-old while a stranger filmed me for evidence, and I genuinely wondered how my life had folded down into this exact shape. I was sitting alone at the end of the bleachers during the 4th inning when the coach walked over. Older guy, whistle around his neck, team hat pulled low. He didn't say anything about the game. He just sat down on the bench beside me, watched the field for a second, then said, without looking at me, "Mine was 14 months, supervised. My ex told the court I'd take off with them across state lines." He rolled a baseball in his hand. "I coach every season she's not signed up for, just to be near a field full of kids who get to have their dads there." He finally looked at me. "You want some free advice? He's not gonna remember the binder, lady. 20 years from now, he remembers you stood at that fence and threw him the ball. That's the whole thing. That's all it is." Then he stood up, clapped twice toward the infield, and yelled, "Nice eye, Bennett, good eye," like nothing had happened. I sat there, not trusting my own face for a minute. On my way to the snack shack for the promised snow cone, 2 other dads caught my eye and gave me the smallest nod, the kind you only give someone when you've stood exactly where they're standing. I realized half the men at that field had probably been through some version of this and just never said it out loud. 7 weeks later, the judge lifted the supervision and gave me every other week, no monitor. My ex's story fell apart the way stories do when there's nothing under them. Bennett doesn't remember Doreen. He doesn't remember the whispering parents or the phone in his face. He just remembers his coach called him a natural, that he went 2 for 3, and that he got a blue snow cone with his dad after. He drew a picture of the 2 of us at the field. It's on the fridge. There's no binder lady in it.